yogis, and welcome back to another one of our longer flows. I'm really excited to share this one with you today. We're going to start ourselves in a comfortable seat. You can be kneeling, cross-legged, whatever feels best. Just firstly, start to close down through the eyes. If you'd like to place your hands somewhere comfortable or maybe on your lowest belly to feel the stomach push into the hands as you breathe in. And as you exhale, really work on getting rid of all of that stale air that we keep in our lungs that has no purpose being there. We'll take 2 more breaths. I really encourage you to turn on Ujjayi, become really present, surrounding that oceanic sound. And then once you feel as if you're ready to add a little more sensation other than the breath, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. What I'd love for you guys to play around with is drawing your left shoulder down and away from the midline of the body. And then also drawing up and to the right through the crown of the head. Really create length through the left side neck into the shoulder. We'll take just 1 more breath here. As you breathe in, crown of the head reaches up. And as you breathe out, left ear drops to left shoulder. And drawing that right shoulder down and away, crown of your head up and away. First, we observe one side in comparison to the other. Really start to settle in with this sensation. Take our last breath on this side. Crown of head draws up as you breathe in. Just 3 big circles with the shoulders. Back in space. And then 3 rolls of your shoulders forward in space, really overemphasizing this movement. Good. Find that stillness. Let's take a big breath out. Bring your hands to your knees. As you breathe in, shine the heart space forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together, take your gaze up. You can keep your eyes closed if you want. And as you breathe out, start to round through the spine, send the tailbone down and under, chin to chest. A breath in to expand the anterior side of the body, open up. A breath out to round over, close, but open that back body. Just 2 more like this. See if you can find some fluidity in the movement. And that movement has that seamless transition just like the breath does. Last one. Really make it count. Open that anterior side. And as you exhale, work on once again pushing the belly button to the spine as much as you can. Really nice. Find that neutral spine. Let's take a big breath in. A really long breath out. And slowly step to the top of your mat. Feel both of your feet ground. Hands at heart center. Close down through your eyes. We'll be incorporating some standing balance into our flow today. But before we begin to move through it, I ask that you guys start to focus on your foundation. Focus on your feet. And even though this may feel like stillness, can you feel those little shifts of you catching your weight and bringing it back to center? This natural thing that the feet have learned how to do. So often we don't appreciate it. Let's take 1 breath out. Spread your right toes, lift your left knee to your chest, stalk as you breathe in. Good, find this long line. We're not leaning back nor forward through the torso, but we're lifting up and out of the right foot. Keeping your gaze still, start to externally rotate through that left knee out to the side And coming to tree pose, bringing the sole of your left foot to your inner upper thigh, or maybe down on the inner edge of the calf or shin. Now guys, we have a drishti, that single point of focus. The gaze is still. Such an important part of our flow today. So I ask that you play with it now and realize its importance. Maybe you start to close down the eyes and observe the impact that has on this posture. As you can notice, it got pretty windy on this side of the screen. Maybe you notice something quite similar. This is the importance of our gaze. So not only do we want to focus on that foundation, but we really want to steady the gaze as well. Let's take our last breath out here. As you breathe in, lift the left knee up, hands rise, find stork. And as you breathe out, slowly drop the left sole of your foot, hands to heart center. You can shake out the right foot if you feel as if you need it. But when you're ready, set that left foundation, spread the toes. And as you breathe in, the right knee feels so buoyant, it begins to lift to the chest, as well as the arms. Can you work a little bit more on getting your biceps by your ears, not scrunching up and lifting your shoulders up, but just finding this activity of hands to the sky? Gaze still. Find that external rotation through the right hip, and then place the sole of the right foot to the inner upper thigh or lower leg area. We want to avoid the knee if we can. You can feel your foundation. You can feel that dance of your left foot in the earth, but then can you add on top of that, add another layer and play with your gaze? Maybe you don't close your eyes, maybe you just look around quite a lot. And just observe how movement through the eyes creates this ripple effect through the body. Even here, we begin to realize everything is connected. Last breath out. Push the belly button to the spine. Breathe out so much you can't anymore. Breathe in to find stork with grace. And breathe out, right foot comes to the earth. Really good. You can shake out the legs if you need. Foundation and gaze today, guys. Keep these two things in the mind's eye. Start to ground down through your right foot. Lift your left leg up. Stork pose, breathe in. We'll move straight into Dekasana as you breathe out. Kick that left foot through the back wall. This back leg needs to be engaged. Squeezing your shoulder blades together. Let's take just one more breath out here. We're not going to stay here for too long. And as you breathe in, crescent lunge, what we're looking to do is drop just the back big toe down and then set that foundation. Tyler's got a really beautiful bend in his back knee, so what that demonstrates to me as a teacher is he's looking to open up through his psoas. Today I suggest you do the same. Taking the belly button in, the lower ribs and the hip points need them together by turning on through the core, but not so much so that you lock out the breath. Let's take one more big breath in. Reach your hands up, biceps by ears, and drop that back knee down as you breathe out. Good. All right, guys. Now this is going to be a transition in our flow. But here, what you guys will notice is that even as Tyler's dropped his back knee down, he's kept the tailbone tucked down and under. This foundation has changed, but what stacks on top of it hasn't. Let's take our last breath out. As you breathe in, lift back up and face forward, both toes forward towards the camera. Let's bring our hands to heart center to give those shoulders a break. Now you're going to experience some fancy footwork. Again, that's why we're talking to that foundation. We'll take a big breath in, reach your hands up. As you breathe out, bring your heels in towards the midline, start to sit down into a goddess squat. Foundation super solid, right? Knees and toes with line, tuck your tailbone down and under, just like in our crescent lunge. What stacks on top of that is super buoyant and airy. And see if you can mold these two things in together, this solid foundation with this buoyant upper body. Let's take one more breath out, belly button in. Hands rise to the sky, straighten your legs, breathe in. Skandasana over the back leg, that left leg as you breathe out. Once again, knees and toes in line, both legs. We're having these same cues come up, yet in different poses. They all lead to a really safe and strong foundation. Setting ourselves up to stack on top of that. Guys, squeeze your shoulder blades together. I want to see your heart shine. And get ready to move. Let's breathe out. Stork pose over that front foot as you breathe in. Nice catch. Hands rise. Set the foundation. Now that transition the first couple of times, let your body get used to it. But here we land in stillness, so does the gaze. Let's breathe in one more time. Hands up. And set that left foot down, hands to heart center. Breathe out. Shake out your legs and allow your expectations and judgments to follow that too. Left foot, feel it ground. Right knee, let it rise. We'll move straight into that Dekasana so we can set up this pose we haven't created on this side yet. Now, Tyler's in a super strong position. That back leg, right leg, super engaged. You can drop your right hip point down just a little bit in space by taking the inner arch of your right foot up. Really nice. Let's breathe out one more time. Keep your shoulder blades squeezing. As you begin to breathe in, you're looking for that right big toe to drop, then set the foundation. Really nice. Crescent lunge. Your big toe mount on your front foot, can you ground that? And then again, build up on top by taking your belly button towards your spine more, your hands higher. Really nice. One more big breath in. Feel that buoyancy. As you breathe out, drop the back knee. See if you can work on moving through that transition without anything changing up the line. Keep the belly engaged. Let's breathe out. As you breathe in, rise all the way up, facing the back. Hands at heart center, give the shoulders a break. Adjust the feet as you need. And just feel that sweet little release in the thighs. I know it's needed. On your next breath in, reach your hands up. And as you breathe out, adjust the feet, drop into your goddess squat. Now, you could be a lot higher than what Tyler is. This is a super strong and challenging position. You choose what you'd like out of it. Really nice, yogis. We're nearly there. Let's take that last breath out. Push the belly button in. Legs straighten, arms rise. Inhale. Skandasana, back leg as you breathe out. We're always moving towards the back of the mat for this position. Now, personally, I can see a little bit of a difference between Tyler's two sides. Can you? Rather than looking for it, can you feel it? There will be a difference. See if you can pinpoint it. See if you can squeeze your shoulder blades together more. Let's exhale to prepare for this movement. And as you begin to breathe in, journey towards the front of the mat. Lift the right knee up. Pause. Gaze still. As you breathe out, foot to floor, hands to heart. Wobble the legs. Shake out anything that lingers, that is no longer serving you here. One breath. One movement, foundation, gaze. All right, when you guys are ready, set the right foot down, lift the left knee up as you breathe in. whole breath out to send the collarbones forward and your left heel back. Drop just the big toes, set up the foundation, lift the arms, crescent lunge and rise. Drop the back knee just to hover, breathe out. Straighten the legs and the arms, face forward as you breathe in. Readjust your foundation, goddess squat, breathe out. Good, rise back up, imprint your feet into the earth. Skandasana, back leg, left leg. Can you support this transition with the gaze as you breathe in, stork pose. Foot to floor, samasthitahi, exhale. Set that left foot down, lift the right knee up, breathe in. Dekasana, keep the gaze still. It will slowly transition as you do. Big toe down first, set the foundation and rise, inhale. Drop the back knee, breathe out. Rise up, facing the back, hands to the sky, breathe in. Goddess squat. As you breathe out, sink a little lower. Hands rise up. Enjoy this buoyancy. Skandasana over the right leg. Exhale, get ready to transition. Stork pose as you breathe in. Really nice, no momentum. Foot to floor, breathe out. Straight away, the other side. Breathe in to rise. Dekasana, chest forward, left leg back. Work on really slowing down this transition into crescent lunge. Inhale. Drop that back knee to breathe out. Rise back up, reset your foundation, breathe in. Drop slow into your goddess squat, build strength as you breathe out. Rise up, that sweet release in the thighs. Skandasana, again, drop slowly. Rise up to breathe in. How is your gaze here? Drop the foot, breathe out. Set the left to lift the right. Take a big breath in. Gaze down to the earth, Dekasana, breathe out. Slow and steady. Building strength in every transition. Inhale. Nothing changes in the top half, but that back knee drops down. Breathe out. Rise up. Breathe in, facing the back. Drop low into the goddess squat. Tuck the tailbone. Rise up to breathe in. Reset. Adjust that right foot. Drop slowly. Skandasana. Whole exhale. That seamless transition follows the big breath in. Foot to floor, breathe out, shake out the legs. Guys, we're going to move through this again, but really begin to make this one fluid movement instead of jolting from one posture to the next. When you are ready, set your foundation, keep your gaze still, lift that left leg up. When the exhale comes, that's when this beautiful transition towards Dekasana begins. That inhale will start to drop that left big toe, arms will rise. And as you breathe out, nothing changes but the back knee lowers. Breathe in to rise and face forward. Breathe out, drop into your goddess, knees and toes in line, back up as you breathe in. Skandasana, back leg low and slow as you breathe out. Inhale will move you back towards the front of the mat. Set the left down. Lift the right up. Here we go with that fluid movement. You begin not to realize where one pose ends and another begins because it all flows into one. This is Vinyasa. Building strength and awareness through every single transition. But build on top of this strong foundation. Rise up to breathe in. Skandasana, breathe out. That big movement, stork pose, rise through that right knee. Drop the foot down, hands to heart. One more time, yogis. Just one more. When you are ready, begin. We really want to incorporate this flowing movement through this class. And this flow itself targets so much of the body. So by doing this over and over again, we're creating this heat, this warmth that we'll use really soon. Set up the foundation, drop into the squat, breathe out. Rise to the buoyancy, breathe in. Skandasana, see if you can drop down lower. Stork pose, set that right foot to lift the left knee. Nice, Tyler. Drop the left foot, hands to heart. Last side. Can you not only make the most of every single posture, but every single transition too? Really nice. Keep moving slower, keep moving to the breath. Every time we rise up, we do so to that inhale. Adjust your foundation. Keep your eyes still as you drop down, goddess. Breathe in, feel the thighs release. Breathe out, find that active range through the hips, Skandasana. As you breathe in, rise back up. Foot to floor, hands to heart, breathe out. Close down your eyes. Slow down your exhale. Absolutely no reason to let the mind wander here. I'd much prefer that you guys center it within the body and start to feel what's happening internally. We'll take just one more breath. Slowly blink your eyes open. Step your feet nearly mat width distant, heels in, toes out. Sorry, Tyler, we're coming into Malasana at the top of your mat. Good. Now, I don't know if you guys have realized, you may have heard us say this before, but Malasana is like double Skandasana. So when we're leaning back towards that back foot, we're in this exact same position as when we are with both in Malasana. So think about those same cues, knees and toes in line, chest broad, shoulder blades squeezing, this beautiful buoyancy through the crown of the head. And just a couple of breaths here. Really slow and steady. Tyler, I'm going to get you to face forward, sorry. All right, now we're going to move through this posture. It's going to look a little interesting and different for every single person doing this, but you can use your hands if you need. All right, look at your right knee. You're going to send your right knee away from the body and down towards the earth. Good. As you breathe out, sit back into your Malasana, really slow and steady. Nice, Tyler. Really slowly internally rotate that right knee and try and get the inner seam of your right thigh to the earth. And sit back into your Malasana. Activate your knees away from one another. Let's go to the other side. Internally rotate through the left. Drop that inner seam to the earth. Sit back into Malasana. Stay strong. And then send that left knee out and away from the body. Sit back into your Malasana. Now, if you guys need to use your hands to the earth to support you, go for it. But we're going to flow through this a couple of times. So, let's keep going. That internal rotation first, through the left. Drop back into your Malasana. Internal rotation through the right. Back into that depth. Send the right knee away. Guys, keep your gaze still. And work on resetting your feet every time around. Again, incorporating that foundation and that gaze. Really nice. Send that left leg away And we'll move back towards the right, that internal rotation through the left. Drop it slow, no jolty movements. Right, internal. Good, sit back into the Malasana. Send it as far away as you can. And then come back into that shape. Observe how the legs are feeling. We'll take one more big breath in. And a long breath out. Okay, yogis, from here we have the option to come into an arm balance. You can stay in your Malasana, that's a pretty long hold, so I'm going to encourage everyone to give this a go. We're coming into crow pose. For some of you yogis, you'll be super seasoned in this. For others, you might be brand new at it. Wherever you are along the journey, start to lift your hips up towards the sky and come into like almost a forward fold-like shape. Place your hands to the earth, shoulder width distance apart, if not a tiny little bit further apart. Now before we move anywhere, I'd love for you guys to start to take a bend in the elbows and then hug them in towards the midline by broadening your chest forward. From there, you're going to take a bend through your knees and aim to get your knees to your upper triceps as close to your armpits as possible. If that's not available for you, you can bring your inner knees to your outer elbows, hips lower towards the earth. Now, whatever variation you've taken with the legs, that's fine. This next part is still the same. Take your gaze forward. Feel your foundation start to become more solid as you shift weight forward. Keep your gaze forward and still. Maybe one toe lifts up, maybe two toes lift up. When they do, hug them towards your sitting bones as much as you can. We're trying to curl into this tiny little ball and sit that effortlessly on top of our foundation. Keep your elbows hugging to the midline, your collarbones broadening through your shoulders. Really nice. Now, if you want to stay here, stay. If you're pretty familiar with this, let's jump back. Take a big breath in. Keep your hips high. And as you breathe out, elbows stay the same. Shoot your legs back. You can take an up dog and then down dog. And then walk your way back up into that forward fold-like shape and start again. Or if you are playing with crow, play with crow. You choose. You can jump back a couple of times, or you can simply rock back and forward in and out of crow pose. Notice my words there, play. That's exactly what we want to think here. There's no judgment, there's no expectations that come into this. In this practice, when we play with things like this, we want to encourage this beautiful curiosity in comparison to this judgmental mindset. So no matter where you are, let's make this our last one really nice. Good. And from there, guys, I'm going to invite you to come back to a downward facing dog when you are ready. And this is the first time we're here today, so I'm going to let you guys enjoy this posture. But just like for the rest of class, make sure that the foundation is set, that the hands are grounded, the fingertips are gripping, and the knuckle mound heavily grounded. On top of that foundation, we wrap the triceps back. You take a bend through the knees if you need it. Tyler's pretty solid here. He's got pretty long hamstrings, so it's not as important for him. But if you know your hamstrings are tight, or if you feel a rounding through the lower spine, bend your knees. We're going to take just one more big breath in. And as you breathe out, lower the knees down to the earth. Send your heels out to one side, legs forward in space. Take a seat. And then lay down. We're going to set up for bridge pose. And make sure that your heels are close enough to your sitting bones that you can brush the back of them. Another important posture to set up our foundation, just like every other one. Before we move anywhere, your big toe mount, where your toe meets the sole of your foot, ground it heavily. And then as you breathe in, slowly begin to rise up. Send your hip points up to the sky. When you get to your height, roll your shoulders in and underneath. The outer seams of your arms, push them heavily into the earth to open the chest towards the back of the room. Toes facing forward, knees hugging to the midline, chest open towards the back of the room. Let's stay for one more big breath in. And lower the hips down as you breathe out. You can windscreen wiper the knees from side to side. Really nice, guys. We're going to come into one more back bend, just one more. Now we're relatively warm for wheel. So if it's a part of your practice, you are more than welcome to go there. If you are new to wheel, I suggest stick with bridge and wait for a class that's a little bit more surrounded by just that one posture. So for those of you heading towards bridge, which is all of us at this moment, slow and steady, find your foundation. Ground your feet heavy. Feel that buoyancy as you breathe in, lifting the hip points up. And when you get to your height, you can either roll your shoulders in and underneath if you're staying in bridge, or if you're going towards wheel, frame your head with your hands, thumbs facing your ears, and then slowly push the floor away, so much so that you find a huge level of buoyancy through the belly. Now Tyler's pretty deep in this posture. He's pushing his hands into the earth. That foundation now has grown from 2 points to 4. Keep hugging your knees to the midline. Make sure your toes are facing forward, glutes squeezing. Keep pushing up. One more big breath in. Good. And then as you breathe out, tuck your chin to your chest if you're in wheel. Slowly lower down. Hug your knees into your chest. Take your forehead towards your knees. Curl into a little ball. Maybe you rock a little from side to side. Just feel that lumbar spine loosen. That compression, if there was any there, slowly move away. And then once you're ready, start to rock and roll up the spine until you find enough momentum to plant the hands down and step back into a downward facing dog. Reset, land. Keep your gaze still. When it's darting around the room, we're inviting distraction. On your next breath in, lift your right leg up to the sky. This transition is like every other fluid. Take your right knee towards your right elbow, your right ankle towards your left wrist, half pigeon pose. Now yogis, this is a super, super important posture, but it will look different for every single person. If you feel any pressure in your knee whatsoever, I'm going to encourage you to come onto your back and take the figure 4 variation. Just make sure you flex those top toes. For those of you in pigeon, we have the option for mermaid if you want. For those of you who know mermaid is not a part of your practice, just stay buoyant in your pigeon. Keep hugging your legs towards one another and find this beautiful buoyancy coming up in space. But Tyler's beautifully demonstrated what mermaid looks like. You start to take a bend through that back leg, taking the inner seam of the left foot into the elbow crease and hugging that towards you. Right arm will then come on top and see if you can link arms. If it's not accessible, stay in this buoyant variation of pigeon. If you're in mermaid and you want to stay, stay. Or if you're in your pigeon pose, you can start to breathe in to lift up. And only if you want to, start to lay your chest down. Now there's going to be a lot of sensation. And that's okay. Totally fine. Maybe you bring your attention to the foundation. That foundation now being the outer seam of your right leg heavy into the earth. Can you feel that pushing down and the earth pushing back up? Your left knee heavy. Maybe, just maybe, the top of your left toes heavy. And close down your eyes. Maybe you can see colors swirling around behind your eyelids. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. Use your hands to push back up, tuck your back toes under, hug your right knee towards your chest and step back into your downward facing dog. You should be able to notice a difference from one leg to the other. That's why we stretch, for that difference there. Once you feel as if you are ready to move off to the left side, let the left heel rise. Knee towards left elbow, ankle towards right wrist. Set up. Now you guys will notice with Tyler's body, his shin is relatively parallel to the front edge of your mat. If yours is angled back further, like your left heel is back towards your right hip point, that's okay. If you feel pressure in the knee, come onto the back, take the figure 4 variation. You can either stay buoyant by hugging the legs together, or you can find mermaid. Mermaid's going to take balance. That foundation, again, can you keep your mind's eye there? Can you keep your gaze still? That's going to support you here. Maybe you can really feel that right hip flexor, right quad in mermaid, or you are still in this beautiful pigeon pose, feeling the outer left hip. And know from this point onwards, you can stay in mermaid, this buoyant variation of pigeon, or maybe you lay down into it. For each and every one of us, the sensation will be different, the alignment will be different. And that's why it's so important we're not getting caught up in looking like anyone else's practice. Their body is not constructed the same way as yours. And their all-day, everyday activities are not the same as yours. As best as you can, find acceptance in this posture. Focus on the breath, the foundation. And once again, maybe you begin to search behind your eyelids for those colors that slowly move through, if there are any at all. Just one more round of breath. Slowly move up, roll onto the outer edge of your left hip, facing forward. Good. Really nice, guys. Send your sitting bones back in space. Coming into Paschimottanasana, 2 variations. You choose. You can either come into the passive variation, folding forward, taking your chin to your chest, your forehead towards your legs. Or maybe, just maybe, if you need that hamstring stretch, you find length on a breath in, you hinge at your hips on a breath out. Now, one of these variations, the spine will be rounded, the other, the spine will be straight. What sensation is calling you? Maybe you take this decision away from the mind and thinking, what do I need? And you allow the body to make this decision. And once again, just because something is right for me or Tyler might not mean it's right for you. We're here as a guide, that's all. The decisions, they're yours. Just a couple more breaths. this last exhale, can you fold just a little deeper, no matter what variation you chose? And once you feel as if you are ready, slowly peel up. Send both of your feet together and your knees out wide. Baddha Konasana is where we are landing next. The closer your heels are to your hips, the stronger this sensation may be. The further away your toes are, maybe the little less sensation there'll be. What I'd love for you guys to work on doing is broadening your chest forward, becoming really proud through the chest. If you want to fold, you can fold. Personally, in my own practice, I don't enjoy folding into this posture. I'd much prefer just to broaden my chest forward, but you'll notice Tyler does. A perfect example of showcasing we are all different, and that is amazing. It's exactly the way it should be. Just a few more breaths to find space through the inner thighs. A few more breaths to be captivated by the breath, by the foundation, or by the gaze. Become really steady in your thoughts. Guide them to this one place instead of allowing that monkey mind to keep swinging from vine to vine. Just 2 more breaths left here. And that expansive inhale offers a cooling sensation to the belly. And that steady exhale centering the mind. Slowly begin to rise up. Send your legs out long. Lay down on your back. Good. Take a moment here to land in stillness, to check in with how the body is feeling, not just physically, but maybe emotionally as well. It's really common that throughout yoga, when we wake up, that stagnant energy that lies dormant within the body, emotions can stir up because we've stored them so deep within. Taking a bend in the left knee, place your left sole of your foot to the earth. Cross your right knee on top of your left. Good. From there, if you can keep your legs like this, but if you can, bring the right top of your foot behind your left calf. There we go. And take a bind. Gluing both of your shoulder blades to the earth, you can allow this package now to fall over to the left side of your body. That's it. This is a twisted roots variation of a supine twist. So if you feel tangled through the legs, you are more than welcome to just bring that left leg out long and allow the right knee to fall to the left side. Really encourage you, as much weight as you can offer your right shoulder blade, do so. Even though the midsection is twisted, can you keep the breath fluid? Can you find that inhale, exhale? We now fall into a little bit more stillness. I offer you a little more space. space to explore the inner world, sensations that linger, where the mind tends to rest. Just 2 more breaths on this side. And gently, with ease, guide the legs back to center. Unravel them, feel that sense of freedom. Keeping the right sole of your foot to the earth, cross the left knee over the right. If you can manage that bind by taking the left foot behind the right calf, go for it. If not, you know where to go. Knees drop to the right, left shoulder blade heavily grounded. As we wring out this midsection, allow everything to settle. Surrender the body to the earth. And see if you can naturally encourage the body to find its depth. Let the mind wander too far. Two more breaths. Back towards center, set up for happy baby. Soles of your feet towards the ceiling or sky, catch onto the outer edges of the feet, draw the knees in towards the armpits. Maybe you rock from side to side, you play with the foundation. Eyes remain closed. As those distractions fly into our mind, fly into our life, can you stay centered? Can you stay still? Two more breaths here, guys. Once your 2 breaths are over, Shavasana awaits. Lift your chest up just enough to tuck your shoulder blades underneath and down. Soften your eyes and your jaw. Allow your tongue to drop from the roof of your mouth. Feel the foundation fall heavier into the earth, the back of your skull, shoulders, hips, and heels. looking to guide your awareness back to the heaviness of your body, a sense of belonging to the earth. Invite movement, just gentle movement, maybe longer and deeper breaths. Once you feel as if you're ready, roll to your favorite side and push yourself to a seat. Eyelids remain draped over the eyes and hands fall into Anjali Mudra. And gently bow your head to your hands. We acknowledge the practice. We acknowledge each other and we acknowledge ourselves in saying Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, yogis, for joining us. Like we said, keep hitting the like button on the ones that you like, dislike on the ones that you dislike.
Just like all of them.
We'd love to hear from you guys and to know how you're going with our platform so we can continue to grow with you. Have an amazing day, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.